Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to extend a heartfelt welcome to you in the Kremlin at the formal ceremony for the presentation of credentials. Our meeting is taking place at the very beginning of the new year, when all of us are making plans for the future, and of course, want to hope that hardships and adversities, mutual grievances and conflicts will remain in the past. Taking this opportunity, I would like to sincerely wish you, your families, and the peoples of the states you represent well-being and success in the coming year 2026. I believe you will agree that one of the key factors of sustainable development and the prosperity of humanity is international cooperation. In today's diverse and interconnected world, universal stability and security directly depend on the ability of states to engage in constructive interaction. An open, honest partnership provides opportunities to resolve common, even the most complex problems. It is no coincidence that people say peace does not come by itself. It is built, and built every day. Peace requires effort, responsibility, and a conscious choice. The relevance of this is obvious, especially now, when the situation on the international arena is increasingly deteriorating. I think no one will argue with this. Long-standing conflicts are intensifying, and new serious hotbeds of tension are emerging. At the same time, diplomacy, the search for consensus and compromise solutions, are increasingly being replaced by unilateral and highly dangerous actions. And instead of dialogue between states, we hear the monologue of those who, by the right of the strong, consider it permissible to dictate their will, to lecture others on how to live, and to give orders. Dozens of countries around the world suffer from disrespect for their sovereign rights, from chaos and lawlessness, and do not have the strength and resources to stand up for themselves. A reasonable way out of this situation is seen in more persistently demanding that all members of the international community comply with international law, as well as in providing real support to the emerging new, more just, multipolar world order. A world order in which all states would have the right to their own model of growth, to independently, without external influence, determine their own destiny, while preserving their distinctive culture and traditions. I would note that Russia is sincerely committed to the ideals of a multipolar world. Our country has always pursued, and will continue to pursue, a balanced and constructive foreign policy course, taking into account both our national interests and the objective trends of global development. With all partners interested in cooperation, we are prepared to maintain truly open and mutually beneficial relations, to deepen ties in politics, the economy, and the humanitarian sphere, and together to counter acute challenges and common threats. Russia advocates strengthening the key, central role of the United Nations in world affairs, which celebrated its anniversary last year. 80 years ago, our fathers and grandfathers, great-grandfathers, having won the Second World War, were able to unite, find a balance of interests, and agree on the fundamental rules and principles of international relations, and enshrine them in the UN Charter in all their totality, completeness, and interconnection. The imperatives of this foundational document, such as equality, respect for sovereignty, non-interference in internal affairs, and the resolution of disputes through dialogue, are now in demand more than ever. And most importantly, it is necessary to proceed from the understanding that security must truly be comprehensive, and therefore equal and indivisible. It cannot be ensured for some at the expense of the security of others. This principle is enshrined in fundamental international legal documents. Disregard for this basic, vital principle has never led and will never lead to anything good. This was clearly demonstrated by the crisis around Ukraine. which became a direct consequence of many years of ignoring Russia's legitimate interests and a deliberate course toward creating threats to our security, toward the advance of the NATO bloc to Russia's borders, contrary to the public promises given to us. I want to emphasize this. Contrary to the public promises given to us, I recall that Russia has repeatedly put forward initiatives to build a new, reliable, and fair architecture of European and global security. We proposed options and rational solutions that could suit everyone, in America, Europe, Asia, throughout the world. We believe that it would be worth returning to their substantive discussion in order to fix the conditions under which a peaceful settlement of the conflict in Ukraine can be achieved, and the sooner the better. It is precisely toward a long-term and sustainable peace, reliably ensuring the security of everyone, that our country is striving. Not everywhere, including in Kyiv and the capitals supporting it, are they ready for this. But we hope that awareness of such a necessity will come sooner or later. Until this happens, Russia will continue to consistently pursue the goals it has set for itself. At the same time, I will once again emphasize and ask you to take into account in your activities that Russia is always open to building equal and mutually beneficial relations with all international partners in the name of universal prosperity, well-being, and development. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, at today's ceremony there are ambassadors of 32 states present, each of whom is an active member of the UN and contributes to addressing pressing issues on the global agenda. Many of you represent countries that are strategic partners and allies of Russia, with whom we are united by bonds of friendship, cooperation, and mutual support, and with whom we together actively work within major international and regional structures. I am confident that the ambassador of Brazil will agree that our two states, which stood at the origins of the creation of BRICS, are consistent, like-minded partners when it comes to forming a truly fair multipolar world order. Cooperation between Russia and Brazil is developing steadily and being filled with new mutually beneficial projects in various fields. As is known, just yesterday I spoke by telephone with President Lula da Silva. This conversation confirmed our shared view of global and regional processes. This conversation confirmed once again that in many respects they coincide or are very close. I would note that Russia has truly strong and friendly relations with the Republic of Cuba. We always provide assistance and support to our Cuban friends, stand in solidarity with their determination to defend their sovereignty and independence with all our strength. The Russian-Cuban alliance has been tested by time and is based on sincere mutual sympathy between our peoples and other countries. Together, we are implementing projects vital for the Cuban economy in energy, metallurgy, transport infrastructure, and medicine, and expanding cultural and humanitarian exchanges. Emphasizing that Russia has long had close and constructive relations with many countries of Latin America, we have always treated the states of this region with great respect as equal and independent partners. This fully applies to the countries represented here, Colombia, Peru, and Uruguay. We believe that we have every opportunity for a qualitative expansion of trade, investment, and commercial ties, cooperation in healthcare and pharmaceuticals, education, and personnel training. In the same spirit of partnership and trust, Russia intends to continue strengthening interaction with the states of the Middle East and North Africa. One of the key roles in this region is played by friendly Egypt, relations with which are built on the basis of a treaty on comprehensive strategic cooperation. Our countries are implementing large-scale joint projects, including the construction of the El Daba nuclear power plant and the creation of a Russian industrial zone in the area of the Suez Canal. In a month, it will be 100 years since the establishment of diplomatic relations with Saudi Arabia. Bilateral partnership is successfully expanding and is of a comprehensive nature. Close coordination has been established within the OPEC Plus format, which truly contributes to maintaining the stability of the global oil market. We welcome the decision of the Kingdom to act as a guest country at the forthcoming St. Petersburg International Economic Forum in June. It is also important that Saudi Arabia plans to host the international music competition Intervision, revived at the initiative of our country. Relations with Lebanon and Iraq are traditionally developing in a mutually respectful and positive manner. Our country consistently advocates supporting the unity, sovereignty, and independence of these states and opposes external interference in their internal affairs. We closely interact with Pakistan, a full participant in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the largest regional structure in terms of its economic, technological, and human potential, and Russian-Pakistani relations are truly mutually beneficial. Afghanistan is also an observer state. Russian-Afghan cooperation has recently acquired noticeable momentum. This was facilitated by Russia's decision last year to officially recognize the new authorities of the country. We are sincerely interested in Afghanistan being a unified, independent, and peaceful state, free from war, terrorism, and drug trafficking. Our interaction with Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and the Republic of Maldives is progressing very effectively. We are successfully developing contacts in such traditional sectors as tourism, fisheries, agriculture, and energy. We are also determined to expand cooperation in other areas of mutual interest. At today's ceremony, there is a large group of ambassadors from friendly African countries: Somalia, Gabon, Senegal, Rwanda, Mauritania, Algeria, Ghana, and Namibia. Russia is connected with all the states of the continent by relations of genuine partnership, support, and mutual assistance. The foundations of these relations were laid back during the struggle of African peoples for freedom and independence. Our country made a significant contribution to freeing African countries from colonial oppression, to the formation of their statehood, to the development of national economies, to the social sphere, and to the training and equipping of armed forces. And we are consistently aimed at expanding mutual political, economic, and humanitarian contacts. We continue to provide assistance and support to Africans in their aspiration for development and for active participation in international affairs. All these issues were discussed in detail at the Russia-Africa summits in Sochi and St. Petersburg, and at the meeting of the Russia-Africa Partnership Forum at the level of foreign ministers held a month ago in Cairo. We are beginning preparations for holding the next third Russia-Africa summit this year. Unfortunately, the positive capital in our interaction with the Republic of Korea has largely been squandered. And yet earlier, adhering to pragmatic approaches, our countries achieved truly good results in the fields of trade and business. We count on the restoration of relations with the Republic. With each of the European states represented here, Slovenia, France, the Czech Republic, Portugal, Norway, Sweden, Austria, Switzerland, and Italy. Our relations have deep historical roots and are full of examples of mutually beneficial partnership and culturally enriching cooperation. The current state of bilateral ties between these countries and Russia leaves much to be desired. Dialogue and contacts, through no fault of our own, I want to emphasize this, have been reduced to a minimum, both along official lines and among business and public circles. Interaction on key international and regional issues has been frozen. One would like to hope that over time the situation will nevertheless change, and our state will return to normal constructive communication based on respect for national interests and consideration of legitimate security concerns. Russia has been and remains committed precisely to such approaches and is ready to restore the level of relations necessary for us. Overall, as I have noted more than once, we are open to mutually beneficial cooperation with all countries without exception, and naturally, are interested in ensuring that the activities of each of the ambassadors present here are as effective as possible. You can be assured, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that all useful initiatives proposed by you will receive support from the Russian leadership, executive authorities, entrepreneurs, and civil society. Allow me to wish you success and all the very best in your work.